For a lot of people, this time of year, they tend to think of the Muppets because of A Muppet Christmas Carol. For me, I watch A Muppet Christmas Carol every single year. I love that film. However, when I was younger, this is not the Muppet Christmas film that I grew up with. And it's not the one I want to talk about right now. I want to introduce you to It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas. This film is not a good film, by the way. I'm going to start by saying this film is not good, and I recognise that it is not a good film. I love it so much though. I think it's iconic and it's just really funny and it's just really stupid. So I want to talk about it because more people need to know about it. The film begins with the opening credits, obviously, as everyone is sort of milling around, you know, they're getting last minute presents. There's a bunch of Muppets going through town on what is later clarified as Christmas Eve. The different cameos as we get into the film get weirder and weirder to the point that Mel Brooks as a snowman is not the weirdest part in this entire film. Mel Brooks as a snowman comes on screen, and a little fun fact, this snowman puppet is actually the one from Jack Frost. You know, the Michael Keaton film? I'm pretty sure he dies and that's the reason he turns into a snowman. So, Michael Keaton Ghost Snowman Puppet is also Mel Brooks Snowman Puppet with a mustache. You know, just normal things, just Muppet things. And then we see the Muppet Theatre, which I will say now, remember this building because this building is incredibly important. We're inside the Muppet Theatre and everyone's having a really good time now. It's Christmas Eve, having a bit of a party. You've got Johnny singing Jingle Bells. You've got people exchanging useless gifts.
Gonzo, I sold my collection of rare cheese to buy you this crystal petri dish for your mold collection.
Gee, Rizzo, I sold my mold collection to buy you this diamond-tipped cheese slicer.
Did you save the receipt?
Not everyone does. Sal goes up to Johnny with a gold record player.
Johnny, my best friend in the whole wide world, I sold my moped to buy you this solid gold record player.
And Johnny just doesn't care.
Well, thanks, Sal.
He's such a twat. Kermit then comes in, he's absolutely fuming.
I am fucking fuming!
He then snaps at Piggy, because Piggy's just like, come on, it's Christmas, give me a kiss. He doesn't even apologise, he's just kind of like, you know what, I'm going out for a walk. So he goes for a little walk. He sits on a bench and he just stays there. And we then get a transition to a computer screen in which David Arquette is sat watching Kermit the Frog.
Someone has got to do something.
And he gets really upset. He's like, someone needs to do something about this damn frog. So he goes to his boss, who I used to think was Jason Donovan. It is not Jason Donovan, it is William H. Macy, obviously. But as a 10-year-old, I don't know what I was smoking because they look nothing alike. William H. Macy from Shameless, who is David Arquette's boss, kind of tells him...
Daniel, we have strict guidelines that define what is and isn't an emergency.
David Arquette's kind of like, you know what, I'm going to go and take this to the boss because I'm sure that they will care.
Career suicide.
He goes to the big boss, who is, in fact, Whoopi Goldberg. She kind of says, okay, if you convince me that Kermit the Frog needs my help, I'll send my best agent. They sit down and they go back in time to Kermit sitting on Carson Daly's sofa.
That's a great story, Kermit.
Oh, thanks.
They're kind of talking about the new Christmas show that the Muppets are putting on. A Christmas show that starts on Christmas Eve. It's more of a New Year's show. What you do, you Kermit. Carson Daly then says that because he loves the Muppets so much, he will be there front and centre for the opening night. Do not listen to this man. He is a liar. I have proof. He is caught in 360p because this film came out in 2002 and there is no way this is HD. It then cuts to Matthew Lillard playing Luc Fromage,
Just a little
who is a French theatre producer. It's kind of not explained what he is. I think he's meant to be some sort of producer or some sort of I don't know. He basically puts on a very strange version of the 12 Days of Christmas called Cirque du Soleil. It is LeMay.
Hey, like this shiny fabric. Okay, LeMay.
It does not go down well. Kermit hates it because it's about the dark side of Christmas, and that's not what Kermit's going for. Kermit's vision is about like the joy of Christmas, and I just love the fact that Matthew Lillard sort of explains that away by going,
You would. You're a little frog.
what does that mean? Is that meant to be an insult? Because it's not quite what you would want things to be nice because you're a frog. Matthew Lillard kind of puts his whole soul into this role, and I think that's why this cameo works so well. It doesn't feel out of place. It kind of makes sense.
Into the journey of this soul, but not this soul or this soul. The deep place, the deep soul.
His accent does kind of go a little bit Shaggy-esque, but I also can't blame him because it is in 2002. So one can assume that he is filming Scooby-Doo, either 1 or 2 within this time period. So I can't blame him for his accent going slightly Shaggy. He obviously storms off.
Whoa. Now what?
The absolute goat walks in. He comes in and he says that he's just been to the permit office. For what permits, you may ask? It is the health permit, the fire permit, and a nice little third one, which is the permit to operate a topless nightclub.
Better safe than sorry, okay?
At first, Gonzo questions this. Once Pepe gives a reason, I'm not calling that a reason, he's kind of like,
Good point.
I'm not accepting that, absolutely not. What the fuck? Pepe then asks Kermit to buy him a plane ticket to go see Ricky Martin for his beach Christmas party. Kermit then explains that they kind of don't have the money at all to do that because they are completely broke. Great timing, because then the owner of Bitterman Bank, Miss Bitterman, walks in.
Hi, Rachel Bitterman, new owner of Bitterman Bank and Development.
She explains that the original owner of Bitterman Bank, Mr. Bitterman, died. And so the agreement that the Muppets originally had with Mr. Bitterman is null and void because they never got it in writing.
Contracts, what are you going to do?
Here is my conspiracy theory. I will put my tinfoil hat on for now. My conspiracy theory is Miss Bitterman killed Mr. Bitterman. Whether it's her dad or her husband, it's never explained. I tried to find it on the wiki and I can't find it anywhere. She killed that man because why would the Muppets not get it in writing if she didn't kill him? If they were expecting him to die soon, they should have gotten it in writing because that would make sense. They didn't, because they didn't know he was going to die soon because it was a premature death caused by Miss Bitterman. She is way too happy to be telling them, hey, yeah, no, my potential husband and or dad died. And also, it's kind of a motivation throughout this entire film. Shockingly, the banker has money as a motivation.
And how is that my problem? Oh, it isn't.
Before she can go away, Pepe is like, you know what?
She's hot.
I'm going to work for her.
Welcome to Bitterman Bank and Development.
This next scene where they're sort of discussing how on earth they're going to try and get this money is actually quite an important scene.
Oops, sorry. Like I was totally just tuning up my harp.
This line is actually the first time Janice has spoken since her original voice actor, which was Richard Hunt, died. It's quite a significant line, really, even though it doesn't seem that important. This scene also features my favourite joke in the entire film.
Would you boot up the old window operating system?
Don't know why it gets me every time. It really makes me giggle, and I really don't know why, because I don't think it's actually that funny. But it's just stupid. It's a dad joke, you know, which is why I love it. After their calculations by Honeydew and Beaker, they realise that they'll have to postpone paying everyone until New Year's of the year after. At first, the Muppets obviously aren't happy about this. They're like, what do you mean? Like, we can't live without money. Fozzie kind of manipulates them, which is an ongoing theme with this bear in this film.
We should be ashamed of ourselves.
And eventually, all of them are like, I give up my pay. I say all of them. Obviously, there's one diva that does not give up her pay. Miss Piggy is in the background and she's sort of trying to scoot away a little bit without being seen. which makes no sense because everyone can see her except for Kermit. She's got like a massive trolley thing full of luggage. And also what she's wearing in this scene, I love it. I love the leopard print with the pink, and the costume department in this film for Miss Piggy kills it. And I love them for it. These are some of my favourite outfits that she's been in. She's such a style icon. Piggy says she's headed to Hollywood because she says she's been scouted for a hospital drama. Not necessarily a new hospital drama, but she's been scouted for a hospital drama. And so she's going there to try and make a name for herself, which, you know what, get it. Don't let your boyfriend hold you back, go for it.
All right, peeps, let's bounce.
We then move to a scene where Pepe is painting Miss Bitterman's nails. Who directed this? Quentin Tarantino? He then tells Miss Bitterman that the contracts that she holds in her hands are the only ones available. They're the only copies. He does this after he gets seduced, is the only way I can sort of describe it. She kind of just alludes to her cleavage being his Christmas bonus. I just feel like we're learning a lot about Pepe in this film, and as much as I love that king prawn, I don't need to know what he likes in bed, you know.
Rough and sexy, okay?
She then tells him of her plan to turn the Muppet Theatre into a trendy nightclub called Club Dot. And he sort of parodies Zoolander a little bit in this film, which I don't quite get. It just doesn't land for me. We then see the Muppets going through different rehearsals of different segments in the show.
Drummer boy!
Fozzie then tells Kermit that he needs to find someone with star power, so they circle through a number of different cameos, including Triumph the dog, which I wasn't aware of as a thing, but apparently this was a big thing back in the 2000s, I don't know. This scene also apparently included Snoop Dogg, who was cut from the film because of his involvement in Girls Gone Wild. Everyone turns him down, some not so gently, and Kermit then realises, oh, I've got to get her back. So he goes to grab Piggy and basically beg for her to come back, as he should. He's treated her horribly this entire time, and now he's like, oh, I need you back. Don't piss on my back and tell me it's raining. We then cut to Scrubs, which I have never seen an episode of Scrubs, but apparently it's been rebooted this year. We see them performing, it's not CPR, but it's basically CPR on a dead person, and they call it as a time of death. This person has died. We find out that dead body is Miss Piggy, because she has a bit of back and forth with the cast and the crew of going through whether she's alive or dead in the scene.
I'm alive!
No, you're dead.
No, I'm alive!
No, you're dead.
Kermit comes in and he's like, Piggy, we need you back for the show. It's not the same without you. And she's like, no, I'm a big star. I'm on TV now. Like, you can't just come in here and beg for me to take my job back in the theatre. These guys need me. She then quits after getting fired by the director and agrees to go back to the show. We're back at the bank, and Pepe is role-playing a raunchy conversation with Miss Bitterman.
Oh, baby, my heart is hot like a black car left in the sun on a summer's day. I must have you now.
Not actually with her, he's pretending that she is there. It's a very strange scene, in which it ends with him being like, yes, Miss Bitterman.
Okay, Miss Bitterman.
Miss Bitterman enters with a himbo that she's actually having sex with. It is heavily alluded to through the use of innuendos.
Innuendo.
And she explains that she has changed the time on the contract from midnight of the 24th to 6 p.m.
Change the contract. I don't get it.
They leave, and Pepe's like, right, I need to go tell Kermit. So he runs back to the Muppet Theatre.
What have I done? I must want Kermit.
Pepe tries to explain what is happening, but he's so fixated on the fact that Miss Bitterman has cheated on him, which implies that they were having sex. A little bit. Because if she's having sex with the himbo, and Miss Bitterman has cheated on him, and Kermit's kind of like, okay, right, well, I need to get ready because I am the opening number and I didn't realise I'm the opening number. This is where we find out that Carson Daly is a liar by the way, because the show starts and we get a wide view of the audience. He is not there. He's not front and centre. He's not even back and sideways. He's just not there. But the thing is, it's his loss because he is missing Moulin Rouge, which is the Muppets parody of Moulin Rouge. It starts with a cover of Lady Marmalade by Camilla and her chicken friends and the Penguins. Unironically, this plays in my head quite a lot, this very specific version of Lady Marmalade. I don't know why. I think because I watched this film at such a young age, it just revolves in my head whenever I hear the actual song. I love the way that they make Moulin Rouge, which is a very not PG film, PG, by just turning absinthe into root beer. Saltine then appears, who is obviously Miss Piggy, and she sings a rendition of Santa Baby, which kind of then descends into chaos, obviously, because why would it go smoothly? She has a little bit of a tantrum and then she kind of holds it together and she manages to finish her number. And she just straight up at the end asks Kermit to go to bed with her.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
In French, obviously, so the kids won't understand, but still, I understood. I know what you were asking, Miss Piggy. And even Kermit's like,
Say what?
I don't think that was scripted. I think Miss Piggy is just trying to get she's just trying to get the feelers out, you know, she's just trying to see if there's any chance. And unfortunately for her, I don't think there is. Pepe eventually tells them what is going on and why he's here.
Oh, yeah, but the joke's on her, because we've got the money.
And Kermit's like, okay, right, well, someone needs to go to the bank. To which Fozzie volunteers. At first, Kermit's not too sure.
Yay. Wait, I thought that was the right thing to do.
But then, against his better judgment, he's like, yeah, no, Fozzie, you can go. I trust you enough. Why he trusts this bear, I don't know. This entire sequence pisses me off to no end. For years after I watched this film, I hated Fozzie the Bear, and this is because of this one scene. It just really does my head in. He makes decisions that just don't need to be made, and he becomes a very unlikable character very quickly. What's slightly more unlikable is this horrendous Steve Irwin impression.
What's up, folks?
For some reason, Mel Brooks Snowman makes another reappearance. He's meant to be a narrator. He hasn't been narrating this entire time, so this is kind of the only time that he shows up. And he immediately gets shot with the tranquilizer dart that was meant for Fozzie. I will say this film then starts basically going, how many Christmas film references can we make in like 5 seconds? Fozzie runs through a Christmas tree painting factory. I don't really know what it's meant to be. And comes out green, as does his bag. And he comes out looking a little bit like the Grinch without his hat on. And he bumps into Santa. He quite literally bumps into Santa. And surprise, surprise, Santa's bag is also green. They make a very big point of showing you that. Santa notices that Fozzie is cold and is like, oh, I'll give you my jacket. Please just give me 2 seconds. I'll give you my jacket.
Here, you take my coat.
Before he can do that, an absolutely horrendous parody of Cindy Lou Who shows up. She says she's from Wattville, which I think is actually a little bit funny. I think that's quite a funny little reference. And they basically said that they're going to kill Fozzie.
Serious pain.
In no uncertain terms, because she does that, which means kill. So they're out for blood, apparently.
Yeah, let's go get that sacred pup.
They start chasing after Fozzie, and Fozzie then runs through a sauna, which basically cleans him up. Not his back, though. Make a note of that. And obviously the Wattville people are confused. So they're like, oh, where did he go? And Fozzie's like, oh, he went that way. He carries on to the bank. Obviously, the trip into the bank is also not easy. He talks to someone who's hard of hearing.
Money! I need to give Miss Bitterman her money!
Oh, Miss Bitterman's laundry.
Fozzie gets up to the 15th floor where Miss Bitterman's office is. And she sees him on the cameras. She has these lasers. Who knows who installed these? And Fozzie kind of firms it several times for no reason whatsoever. He didn't need to do it 3 times. It was just because he was fucking stupid. He gets through, and the wiki says, I watched this film multiple times for this video, but I also consulted the wiki a couple of times just to be sure I knew what I was talking about. The wiki says that Fozzie arrives late. I want to clear this up. He does not arrive late. He arrives before 6. The issue And I hope you were playing along at home, because the issue that Fozzie has when he gets to the office is the fact that the bag is not full of money, it is actually full of Santa's clothes. Because if you remember earlier, they both had green bags, but one was slightly a different colour, which just proves that he was on time. The time wasn't the issue. He made it in time. It was the fact that he doesn't have the money. That was the issue, not the fact that he wasn't on time. As much as I say Fozzie did piss me off in this scene, I will not stand for that, because that is incorrect. That is slander, libel, and I will sue you for defamation, whoever wrote that Wikipedia article. Kermit then goes looking for Fozzie.
And miss a party? I'm sure I'll be fine.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I'd feel better if I knew for certain.
And he finds him sitting outside, and obviously Fozzie's like, hey, kind of didn't give her the money, like I promised I would. And he tries to explain exactly what happened, and Kermit is obviously getting his rag off with him a little bit.
Fozzie, do you realize that if we don't find this money, we'll have lost everything we've worked for?
Because he thinks he's just kind of coming up with a random story. Obviously everything has happened, but it just doesn't sound real. Kermit then heads back to Bitterman Bank, and he's kind of trying to reason with her, which at this point, like, Kermit, you just come to grips with the fact that she can't be reasoned with. She's a horrible person. You don't want to reason with this person.
Huh. By now I thought you would have realized I'm the bad guy.
And she basically says that he's ruined his friends' lives for believing in dreams, which a bit harsh, but I can kind of see where she's coming from with that a little bit.
This is not good at all. Somebody's got to do something about that Bitterman.
So this is where the film originally started, with Christmas Eve. He then goes back to the theatre. He does his whole spiel about the fact that, like, he's lost the theatre, and, like, you know, he should never have let his friends believe in dreams. Walks out, goes on a long walk, and he, in what I can only describe as an act of suicide, he sits on a bench and he freezes to death.
It's not suicide, because that involved actively doing something to kill yourself. What he is doing is just sitting down.
It's an inaction.
And then just stopped. He's not trying to kill himself, he's just stopped trying to live.
Which is he's trying to kill himself.
It's no, because it's the same logic of, like, you live on a 2-minute timer, it's just that breathing resets that clock.
You can't tell me that this is what you wanted to happen.
She then agrees that Kermit the Frog needs help, so she sends Daniel down, which is David Arquette, because apparently he knows more about this whole thing with Kermit the Frog, despite being basically like an accountant. He gets there and realises that he's too late, so he pulls a hairdryer out of somewhere and tries to heat Kermit up.
Who are you? Why are you breathing on me?
You're alive! Now I can save you!
Yeah, well, do me a favor and don't bother. Nobody can save me.
He then wishes that he was never born, which then leads to the It's a Wonderful Life parody that this film is named after. We are an hour in, folks, and we've only just got to the parody in which this film is named.
I saw this in a training video once.
What?
The park in which they were stood in is now a mall, which is owned by Bitterman Bank. Gonzo is a busker, which Kermit loses him a potential sale of Amy the Dancing Brick. I kind of want to know a little bit more about Amy. I want to know why she's a dancing brick, what makes her dance, and where did Gonzo think this up?
2, 1, go!
We see that Rizzo is on Fear Factor, which unfortunately means that Joe Rogan is in this film. Because before he was a right-wing grifter, Joe Rogan used to present Fear Factor. So he is unfortunately in this film. So there you go, that's why his name was in the opening credits.
What a disgusting show. How can NBC live with themselves?
Well, it's worse than it seems. For some reason, You're Not Being Born has altered the world. So 90% of network TV is reality shows.
They then go to Club Dot, which obviously is where the Muppet Theatre stood. Honeydew is working the door.
Can't you read, lizard? This is Dot.
We then see Sam Eagle at a raver, and Scooter is a go-go dancer. I often see screen grabs of this film, and this is usually the one that people use because they're kind of like, what the hell is this film about? I ask myself this every time I watch it every year. Statler and Waldorf are sleazy old men who are buying girls drinks, and then when they stop buying girls drinks, they get kicked out. Johnny is working behind the bar. Robin is also working in the club, which is kind of weird because he's a minor, but I don't put it past Miss Bitterman to hire minors. Beaker is a bouncer, essentially. He kicks them out. Fozzie then kind of comes to their aid a little bit until Kermit realises that Fozzie has indeed stolen his wallet. He's a pickpocket and he's managed to pick someone's pockets that they don't have.
He took my wallet. Unbelievable.
Which is honestly kind of impressive. Maybe there's a hidden talent there for Fozzie in the actual world that he kind of maybe needs to pursue. Kermit obviously sees Miss Piggy last because she is the one who means the most to him, even though he doesn't act like it. Yes, I'm salty.
I think there's someone else you should see.
And David Arquette gives Kermit some chocolates to give to Miss Piggy. He pretends that he's someone that she's known a while ago and it's an old flame kind of thing, and she immediately lets him in because he has chocolates. That is kind of the main reason why.
Oh, you brought candy!
As soon as he walks into her apartment, it's very clear that she is a crazy cat lady. However, this is not the main focal point of this scene. If you look outside of Piggy's window, there are two very famous towers.
Make yourself comfortable. Have a seat. Somewhere.
Two towers that are instantly recognisable. Reminder, this film came out in December 2002. A year after the events of 9/11. Why the fuck are the Twin Towers in this fucking film? Because that implies if Kermit was never born, the Twin Towers would still be standing. Ergo, 9/11 would never happen. I find it baffling that this slipped through the net at NBC because of the amount of censorship that went through 9/11. It just feels a bit strange that they would be like, oh, no one's going to recognise us. Find another photo, surely.
Hello, darling.
Nice, Kitty.
Miss Piggy knows the answers you seek.
Kermit calls this 9/11 and Miss Piggy is a Jamaican psychic. That's kind of my main takeaways from this scene.
Piggy, that's not real acting. That's deceiving people for money.
Oh, no. You're not a cop, are you?
Kermit kind of goes off on her a little bit. He's like, oh, you're deceiving people for money. Which, I know she's not really Jamaican, Kermit, but come on. Like, let a girl have a side hustle. Speaking of which, this is a side hustle because she is $2.99 a minute when you ring her up. She is not cheap. She knows her worth and it is $2.99 a minute. Kermit goes on about how Miss Piggy should be ashamed because it's not actually acting. That's not an actual acting job. But
Miss Piggy's for entertainment purposes only. You must be 18 or older, $2.99 a minute. Local tolls may apply.
in her defense, she did read out the terms and conditions at the beginning of the phone call, in which she says this is for entertainment purposes only. So it should not be taken seriously. Kermit is acting like this is fucking Crypto Zoo or something. She then goes on a spiel about how, you know, she wanted to be a Hollywood actress, which I really appreciate that because it is kind of the plot of the original Muppets movie, so I think that's quite sweet. And then she gets angry and karate chops him out of the room, but then takes her chocolates back because they are her chocolates at this point.
Ooh. On second thought, I'll take these.
Kermit heads back out into the street where you can still hear Piggy crying.
Daniel? 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 Daniel?
Don't just leave her crying like that when you can hear her on the street. Kermit's lost Daniel. We all lose things, Kermit. Maybe not an entire person. And he goes back to the mall and sees Gonzo playing a guitar. Now, this song is no Rainbow Connection. And it's no Man and Muppet. But it's kind of a little bit of a bop.
I feel so invisible tonight.
We don't get Gonzo singing a lot, so I think it's quite sweet when we do get him singing.
On the most miserable Christmas of my life.
And he's basically singing about how he's having the most awful Christmas ever. Cheery. He's having a really bad Christmas because his friends aren't calling him and he's just all alone. And then Kermit kind of just goes, fuck you, I have friends.
If I had my friends and family here tonight, I'd have the most wonderful Christmas.
He is basically spinning this as much as Sydney Sweeney's PR team is spinning her right now. The song finishes with an Everyone Matters bit, which is quite sweet. You know, it kind of keeps with the vibe of, you know, Kermit trying to kill himself at the beginning.
Everyone matters. Everyone matters.
We then cut to Whoopi Goldberg crying. Like, it's a good song, but it's not that deep. Daniel then shows up, and he's kind of gotten an admission. He doesn't actually know how to get Kermit back to reality. So Kermit obviously starts crashing out.
Kermit, maybe things aren't quite going your way, but no, I had to say, I wish I'd never been born. How selfish.
It's like, what do you mean? Like, thousands upon thousands of people are still alive, and My Chemical Romance never got together, which honestly, fair, I would also crash out over that. And eventually Daniel gets a phone call from Whoopi Goldberg, who essentially says to spit in his eye, so he does that. It does bring Kermit back, but now he has got spit in his eye, and he is so happy that he is back that he doesn't care he's going to get pink eye. He is absolutely elated. If anything, he's probably excited because he's fitting in with the new Wicked marketing. Daniel then says, you know what you could do to make this even better for me? Fill out this survey, so when I get my review, it helps me a lot.
Well, as a matter of fact, if you found my visit helpful, you could tell my boss by filling out this customer survey. It will really help when I come up for a review.
I'm sorry, angels get reviews? Angels have quarterly reviews. What the fuck is heaven? Is it just a dystopian future where everyone's just a desk monkey? Do they get paid? Is it volunteer work? Are they expected to just do it for free? This doesn't sound like heaven. This sounds like hell. But that also begs the question, did Daniel get a promotion? Because he's kind of going above his pay grade, and he's done a damn good job because Kermit no longer wants to kill himself. So, good job. Kermit kind of forgets to do that.
Kermit. I'll mail it to you.
I don't know where you're going to live because you've lost the Muppet Theatre, but I'll find you, it's fine. I'll link you up in the yellow pages, I don't know. He then goes, obviously, back to the theatre. He's like, oh, it's still standing. Not for long. Obviously, remember that Miss Bitterman does own the theatre.
Oh, I'm back. This is wonderful. Merry Christmas.
And Johnny and Sal are eating a pizza, and they remark that Kermit has clearly been to the pub.
Somebody's been drinking a little too much eggnog.
Which I would also think that if my friend had disappeared for about 20 minutes and then come back screaming, I'm back, and he was happy, I would also think he's been on the sherry. Kermit obviously is then like, no, I'm just happy, you know, I'm full of Christmas spirit. And it's like, oh, you're definitely full of some sort of spirit. In what I can only describe as either a throwing up or gagging sound, jumps onto the stage. That is the only way I can describe the noise that is made by Steve Whitmire in this moment. I really want to see the script for this section, because what on earth was said? Did it say Kermit throws up, or did it say like Kermit gets ready to jump? Because if someone's getting ready to jump, it does not sound like they're choking on something. Is all I'm going to say. He goes down off screen as well, which just makes that even worse. He jumps onto the stage and he's next to Piggy, and Piggy is obviously still upset because he did snap at her like 20 minutes ago. So he just decides, you know what, I'm going to kiss her.
Yeah, he's drunk, all right. Kissing a pig on the chops like that.
However, this screen grab of this still, it shows that it's not on the chops, it's clearly on the neck. Obviously, that is just the height of the puppets, but it's just so not near her mouth that it just doesn't quite make sense. In her excitement, she falls off the stage.
All my dreams just came true.
This still of the legs of Miss Piggy in the air, it just fucking kills me every single time. I think because it reminds me of that one meme of Kermit the Frog falling off that building. Fozzie is then sort of moping around, feeling guilty, you know, as he kind of should, because he did lose them God knows how much money. And Kermit's like, no, I forgive you, which he's a better frog than me because I wouldn't have done that.
Our friendship is a lot more important than any old theater. Really.
This lovely moment is ruined by Miss Bitterman coming in and basically telling them to fuck off.
Could everybody please pack up and get out?
And Kermit's like, no, it's still our theatre until tomorrow. We're going to enjoy the rest of tonight. Miss Piggy kind of stands up to her and is like, right, you're not talking to my man like that. She calls her arse skinny.
Little Piggy's going to kick your skinny banking butt.
Oh, skinny. Thank you. It's too bad I can't say the same for you. Miss Porky.
Later on, she calls her plus-sized. Like, there is absolutely no need for all of that. She called you skinny, and that's how you repay her? You basically go, yeah, but you're fat. They obviously have a fist fight. I say a fist fight, it's more Miss Piggy's doing karate, and Miss Bitterman is doing whatever the fuck this is. They get a few punches in. Piggy threatens to bust her lip, which, valid. And then Kermit kind of gets caught in the crossfire. He kind of doesn't react. The only person who really reacts is Piggy. Kermit is telling them to stop fighting. Pepe re-enters. And Miss Bitterman is kind of like, this is weird, why are you in a good mood? And he says he's been back down to the permit office, which I'm going to question this because what permit office is open this late on Christmas Eve?
And filed for a special permit with the city, okay? The Muppet Theater is now an official historical landmark, okay?
So, although Miss Bitterman still owns the theatre, it will only ever be a theatre. Obviously, Miss Bitterman's upset because she's just basically owns this theatre now that she doesn't want. She's so upset, in fact, that when Bobo comes in dressed as Santa, which, what do you mean? That is adorable.
Oh my god, my Shayla.
She fully pushes him out of the way. She's fully just like, get out of my way. He comes in and basically tells them that they're singing carols outside and it's snowing and it's really cute. So they all go outside and they sing carols together. It is later revealed that the Salvation Army do indeed get to keep the money that Fozzie left with them.
Heavens! This is our best year ever.
Whoa, Merry Christmas. Someone up there is looking out for us.
And then the film ends in a rendition of Everyone Matters.
Everyone matters. Everyone matters.
How does everyone know the lyrics? Because they weren't there. It was in a completely different timeline, so I don't quite understand how everyone's like, yeah, okay, we know these lyrics, we're going to sing 5, 6, 7, 8. Overall, this film was my entire childhood. I love it. Watch it every single year. Even though it is not a great film. I admit it's not a good film. It's like a 7 out of 10. It's not amazing. It's not mind-blowing, but it's wholesome. And, you know, it's a Wonderful Life. It's shorter than It's a Wonderful Life, and it's slightly less depressing, although seeing Kermit trying to kill himself is a little bit more depressing, I do admit. Can someone please make sure that Pepe gets to Ricky Martin's Christmas party? Because that's all he wants for Christmas, is a ticket to Ricky Martin's Christmas party. And I think he deserves it after literally carrying this entire film, pretty much. Unpopular opinion, probably. This film is iconic. It is Christmas. And you need to watch it. More people need to know about this, because I want more people to think of Matthew Lillard. And I want more people to know that when Quentin Tarantino said Matthew Lillard was not a good actor, he had clearly never seen this film. Peace and love, season's greetings and all that shit, and I don't know. God bless us. I don't know how to end this.